Welcome back, guys, for another 1 vs 1 DCS Deathmatch. This time we are back in the Viper, but we're venturing outside the squadron for a matchup against the mighty, the deadly Flanker. Alright, really excited about this one today. My opponent, Twist, is a very experienced flanker pilot. He's flown in tournaments like SATAC and has a lot of hours in the jet, and he's going to do his best to give a real challenge today. Fighting the flanker is going to be really different from fighting other jets because it's one that truly has different capabilities. First off, we're flying with ECM, and that is really going to hurt our first pass capability in a couple ways. First, it's going to make it difficult for me to get ranging information on him before burn through. I can still lock his chevrons if I want to, but I'm not going to know the exact range. And it's also going to prevent the AMRAM from using its max potential kinematics, so it's going to make it a worse shot at whatever range I do shoot. The second thing is he can still use his ECM and use the radar, whereas if I want to use barrage jamming, I cannot use the radar at the same time. You can see right now it's got no radar on the HMD, and that's because we're jamming. So first order of business is going to be to survive the first pass. For this first one, what I'm going to do here is wait until I get close enough that I think I can give him a decent missile. I think around 40 miles is where I'm shooting for, and I'm using range to bullseye to calculate that. So right now we're 21 miles to bullseye, and shortly we're going to turn off the jammer, which can potentially kill his missiles if he's got any out there already. And then we'll lock the jamming chevrons and give him a missile. Turning now, we can hear he spiked us. Jammer's gonna come off and we're gonna pitch up and do our own shot here. So I do have a few different options here. I could just immediately unlock him and let the missile go in home on jam mode. The issue with that is all he has to do is turn off his jammer, and that will kill our missile. So instead, this first round, I'm going to try to support the missile in here and kind of treat it like a normal first pass. Our missile is not going to do as good as it normally does. It's only at 39,000 right now, so it's not lofting nearly as much as it typically would. But I wanted something to at least force him down. Now, we've got a missile warning from him, and that is from a PL-12. So PL-12s are going to be really dangerous missiles. They're going to have a little bit better kinematics than our AMRAMs. But they do tend to be notched fairly easy. So we get this one notched and turned back in. He's had no issue defeating our missile, but first pass we've kind of got according to plan. We forced him down. We've got a little bit of altitude. We're basically neutral now, and ECM is no longer relevant. So shooting our second pass missile, and now is going to be when one of the flanker's other strengths is going to start being a threat, and that is its ability to shoot ET missiles. These are going to be really dangerous missiles. They've got good range on them, and they can track me without any kind of warning. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for missile trails and really lay into the flares if we think one might be out. You can see here, to be safe, I'm terrain blocking before I even get a missile warning. But that's the other threat we've got to look out for. So long range, we've got ECM to worry about and his better missiles to worry about. Mid range, we've got to worry about the ETs, which are a threat to us. So really what we want to do is get to the close range fight and start messing around with the notch, because I'm going to have a lot easier time notching his missiles than he will mine, and I'm going to have an easier time keeping track of him, locking him, all that stuff. So that's going to make me perform much better in the notch fight. So really we're just trying to survive to that point. I spike him and turn out, trying to do a fake pass to see if he reacts and either goes cold or wastes a missile, but he doesn't bite. A little too good for that, so we come in and we both trade our third shots here. I'm going to notch this because, again, my goal here is to get close to him. So if I can notch this missile and close that range a little more, I need to get to the range that he can no longer defeat my missile kinematically. And we both have to notch, and then I like my odds a little better than I like his in that environment. Now, what's going to hurt this game plan is that he is ducking behind the hill here, and now I do need to keep my distance instead. It's not a smart idea to fight a flanker in terrain like that because they're going to be able to use their EO mode to pick you up without you knowing, whereas you're going to have to either get lucky with your eyes or use your radar and tip them off that you know where they are. But we do a good job of predicting where he's going to come out, and we're able to pick him up right away. Now we're down to our last Fox 3. This is the notch fight we wanted, so we're going to make it count. Alright, well, we made that last missile count and got the trade, but did not manage to notch his missile. It's kind of a bummer because we got him right where we wanted. We were able to survive in that long range area, that mid range area, and get into the close range area where we had the advantage. But you know, that's the danger of using notching as a tactic, is it only takes one mistake. We're forcing ourselves to notch a missile on a reaction when we don't have a lot of time, and that is always going to be a bit of a dice roll. So that time we roll snake eyes and yeah, we eat a missile. But anyways, we're on to round 2. So this round we're going to try out a different strategy to try to counter his ECM advantage. I'm going to give him a quick spike here before we lose his chevrons. I don't know if it actually works or not because we were jamming there, but the chevrons stay on your radar for a minute after. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and do similar to what we did last time. We've got our jammer on. We're going to start cranking off to the side here. But rather than just stay in the crank, we are going to try to get all the way into the notch. So initially he's still going to be able to have us on radar because we are jamming. So that's going to send radar signatures his way no matter what. But once we've got him notched, we're going to shut the jammer off, and then he should immediately lose us. We'll basically be invisible to him. And I'm trying to stay right below this cloud layer too so that he can't see us visually. It's pretty far, so he might not see us anyways. But the idea here is we'll be completely out of position, we'll close in, and then give him a nice surprise missile. I still have my radar off too, so I don't accidentally give him anything there. Now, when you're doing this, when you're trying to notch somebody's radar, you are going to be moving to the side, and to keep them on that 90, you need to keep moving in an arc around them. So you'll see I'm going to keep doing these adjustments to try to keep him on that 90 degrees mark, because if we come out of the notch, he will pick us up on radar, and then we'll basically lose the advantage that we got from this tactic. Now, this is perfect. We've lost his nail, so he is no longer even scanning in the right spot to pick us up on radar. But the eagle-eyed amongst you may have already spotted my mistake. Great job, you got it. We did not continue arcing. We just went in a straight line, then he picks us up, spikes us, so I know the game's over. We're going to start angling towards him, because now what I really don't want is for him to just get shots off and keep us in the notch, because he's just going to close the distance with really high energy. So what I want to do is turn in, pick him up on radar, get a cheap shot off just so that he can't stay at 40,000 Mach 1.4, and then we're going to have to quickly defend his missile. There we go, absolutely crap missile off from us, but it just needs to get him to drop altitude, which he is, and there we go, we've got his missile notched. And then unnotched. So the notch is really betraying us today. If you see this POV, you can see that we have it notched here, and then when it snaps up, that's it reacquiring us. And the pressure is on because we are only one loss away from the first defeat of this series. Alright, into round 3. Skipping ahead a little bit here just because I don't want it to get repetitive, but we are kind of deep into the first pass. We've got our jammer on. We're probably crossing around 45 miles now, so it's about the time to think about first shots. And our game plan for this round, we sort of want to play it similarly to round one, except we're going to focus a little bit more on gaining a missile advantage. He's going to have more missiles than me generally, but we're going to have the same number of Fox 3s. So if I can get the fight to a spot where I have more Fox 3s than him, then I can potentially close out the fight. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn in, I've got my jammer off, so I can lock him. I'm going to give him a spike, and now I'm ready to fire a home on jam shot, but instead I'm going to hold that shot and turn out and get my jammer back on instead. So you can see from the tac view on the bottom right, I've spiked him. I think he's overreacted to this, to be honest, because he's turned out and now he's not supporting his PL-12. So that's worked like a charm. He's down one missile. I've got all my missiles, so, so far so good. Now, we do pick him up, and we get a missile warning at the same time. It's a little weird how that works. I don't know why I get the missile warning here. It shouldn't have been supported. It's not showing up. But it does give me that launch warning. I'm going to just go with my gut and turn in here, and now I do kind of want to get a first shot off. We're at 27 miles, so this is not a great shot, but it's okay. And you can see from the tac view on the bottom right, we pull out another shot from him too. Now, one thing with the flanker is he does not get a countdown to active. So he doesn't know when the missile's going to go active exactly. He's got to guesstimate it. And you can see he's turned out again and unsupported his missile. So once I see that, I want to not be where his missile is looking for me when it goes active. So I'm going to pull up here, gain some altitude, start turning and everything, and I feel comfortable going hot. And you can see the U shows up. The missiles are showing up as U's because of my data cartridge, but it doesn't actually go active on me. It just pops up there. So here we get another missile off. It's not perfect, but again, we still have the missile advantage. We're trading here. He's got a PL-12 out. We're in ET range, so I'm worried about ETs. I see he doesn't support the missile again, but I do a bunch of flares just to be sure. Then we get the U pop up, so I know he's got another PL-12 down. I don't know whether or not he's used an ET yet, because that's not going to give me any kind of indication. So here I try a little bit of a trick shot. I shoot into his recommit. If you saw my 2v2 video, you know those can be dangerous. They're more dangerous up high, though. So this missile isn't as much a threat unless it really catches him off guard, but he's going to get the warning with enough time to defend. A little bit of a missed opportunity there. I could have saved that until I was closer. Now here I have an advantage. He's used his last Fox 3, and we still have one. I shoot it a little far. 6 miles is not the Nez, and he's got some terrain there too. But if you look at the tac view on the bottom right, you'll see that as he comes around the terrain, the missile does pick him up, and with a little luck and a little skill, we come out with a win. Alright, with a round 3 win, we've managed to even it up, so round 4 is going to be winner takes all. Shout out to Twist. He was super fun to fight here. These fights really went down to the wire, as you can tell. It was really fun fighting a different opponent than typical, and he gave me a huge challenge in the flanker. They're not supposed to be as good at keeping track of people down low because their sensors aren't as good, and there wasn't a single time he lost me for these entire fights. But that's enough friendly talk for him. Our job right now is to kill him, of course, so we've skipped ahead a little bit. We're going to mix it up again. I'm trying to mix it up each of these first passes so he doesn't know what to expect. Last time we did the fake home on jam shot. This time we're going to do a real one, and if we're lucky, he'll just fly into it or something. Shot goes out. Now, one of the advantages here is we don't have to support a home on jam, so normally we would go into a crank and dive here. we're still gonna do a little bit of a safety dive, but rather than stay in the crank, we are going to turn out into the beam slash notch here and start making our way towards the coast. So that's going to give the advantage of making his missile have an even harder time hitting us. But you can see here he doesn't support the missile. I don't recognize it at the time. I'm a little task saturated trying to keep tally on him and look out for other shots, but his missile is just going behind me. So I don't know that. I'm waiting for his missile warning from the previous missile. I saw him fire it. So I'm staying in the notch here waiting for his missile to go active, but then he gets another missile off on me, and I'm in a little bit of a dilemma now. So I'm going to try to do this split S into a notch, but I'm getting really worried that he's just going to be able to push right in and run me down. He's got a lot of energy. If he just keeps on firing missiles at me and I don't respond, I'll probably lose. But I make a mistake here. I switch into dogfight mode to pick him up with the helmet, and I accidentally shoot a aim 9 instead of an aim 120. So then I shoot another aim 120, but now I'm down 2 missiles to try to get him off of me, and neither one is going to do really good. So the plus side is we survived that attack. He's had to defend, he's gone into the beam, and now we're sort of neutral coming at each other, but I wasted more missiles than I wanted to. So we pick him up, lock him, we shoot another missile off. You can tell I'm getting a little bit wary of the notch here, because I go cold instead of trying to notch and close the distance. We're going to be able to drive his missile into the ground and recommit really quickly here. This entire fight, I am sort of paranoid about the ET threat, so as I'm recommitting here, I am dumping flares just to make sure I don't die to an ET. So range is a little bit far here. I'm down to a single active missile, and we're heading towards each other, and he's actually used all of his active missiles. He gets an ET off here, and here I waste my last active missile. It's an 8-mile shot. There's essentially no chance this 8-mile shot's going to hit him. You can see he just turns right out, and it's just not going to have the energy. I have managed to flare his ET so that doesn't track, but now I've wasted a Fox 2 earlier and only have one, and I just wasted my last AMRAM, so it's a pretty tough position, and now I'm thinking about being tricky here. So I'm trying to track him just with the aim 9 Seeker rather than locking him, and I try to fire it into his recommit, hoping he just flies into it, but I didn't have a good sense of the range, so that one ends up being fired way too far as well. I know I'm down to guns, so I'm turning in here. I don't have a lot of other options but to close the distance while he's not facing me and try to force a merge. And even in a merge, I'm going to be at a disadvantage here. He's got way better missiles than me, but we've got to make it to the merge. You can see he's got missiles off. We're going to flare, and then unfortunately we run out of flares, and that's it. Congratulations to Twist for giving me my first loss of this series. It was still really fun flying against him, and I'm looking forward to a rematch eventually. Please let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video, any planes or pilots you want me to face next, and anything you would have done different to win this fight. See you in the next one.